What's up YouTube, Jamie the Kid 00 here, and sorry for my couple of days absence, had a few things on, but I am back with a couple more deck profiles. I'm going to be trying to pump these out again every day this week if I'm able to, but this week is a little more busy, so we'll see what happens. But the first deck profile for what is probably going to be early Tuesday by this point, I'll call this early Wednesday, I'll call this the Tuesday profile and see if I can get another one done for Wednesday. Or for my American viewers, you're probably seeing this late Tuesday night. Anyway, I digress. For my Tuesday/early Wednesday profile, this is going to be Prophecy. Now, before I get into the actual list, I want to give a big shout out to my friend James, who actually sent me this list before Nationals, and it was a list that I tested quite a fair bit, had a lot of faith in, but I eventually opted not to take it to Nationals, and I've regretted it ever since. So I took the list, made a few changes, and decided, hey, I'll play it for locals. I didn't actually do too well at locals. Upsettingly, I went to my small locals, went 2-1-1. My draw was because of time. I lost game 1 because I opened Triple Priestess. I opened Double Priestess and drew the third later on. And then my loss was in a situation where I had to draw a Spellbook. I had 4 draws to do so, and I didn't draw one. With like Recklesses and things like that, I didn't draw them, so oh well, I shouldn't have put myself in those positions. But anyway, we are going to get into this list. I've talked too much, acknowledgements have been made, and let us begin. This is the Priestess variant, this is not the World of Prophecy version. I wanted to play a deck which relied a little bit less on blowout plays and a lot more on control, and I feel that this was how James designed the deck, and when I was testing it, it was definitely how I played it. You never really, unless you are sure that you completely have game from all angles, you do not play for blowout pushes. You play for overall control of your opponent until you can put your Priestess on board and start establishing major damage and pushing for general field dominance. So, we play the Triple Priestess as our boss monster. Next, we play 3 copies of course, the Stratos, 3 copies of Spellbook, Magician of Prophecy. This is going to be your go-to guy. He's going to be the monster you almost always summon turn 1 if you have access to him. Spellbook of Secrets, Spellbook of the Crescent, things like that. You're going to be wanting to go through him to set up his spellcaster on the board for Spellbook of Fate. And then the final monster that I played, yes, only 9 monsters in the deck. I played 3 copies of Justice of Prophecy. Justice of Prophecy, again, something you want to open or get to as fast as possible to just help you get to your Priestess and establish that cool +1 that she gives. I would like to say something for all the doubters that are going to put this all over my profile. While there are only 9 monsters in the deck, you have to bear in mind there is a huge amount of deck thinning, and there is also a fair amount of draw power in the deck. If you don't open a monster, it's almost fair to guess that you will either be able to search one with Secrets, or find Secrets with Crescent, or you'll be able to draw into one with cards like Reckless Greed, or be able to add one with Duality. So you will get to one within the first 2 turns, I can assure you of that. One thing that I had over this, the main thing that I got stuck for at this event was actually Spellbooks. I had monsters almost all of the time. So this is the monster lineup, 9 monsters. For the spells, I played a few non-Spellbook spells, you kind of have to. I played Triple MST. This going into a locals, I felt that, well, this was in the list that James designed me anyway, but going into the locals, I felt that these 3 mystical space typhoons were going to be essential for all of the rogue picks that I could possibly come up against. And I felt that if anyone was playing artifacts, I could play clever and use this in their turn to try and snipe their artifacts away and not let them set off. Sadly, I didn't find any of these in the artifact matchup I played up against, and I took some fairly big hits because of that. But 3 MST. 3 Pot of Duality. This is just to get you to where you want to be. Yes, I'm aware it conflicts with Spellbook Library of the Crescent, but if you have opened Library of the Crescent, you simply don't play the Duality. That's the simple way to do it, because Crescent is far superior to Duality if you've opened it. Speaking of which, we are going to move into the Spellbooks with 3 copies of Spellbook Library of the Crescent. I've maxed out, because we do play discard engines, we can banish it from our hand with Priestess if we absolutely have to use it for fodder. And I maxed out because you want to open this, or get to it as quickly as possible, because of course, you do not want to be drawing it mid-game when you have Spellbooks in your graveyard. It's pretty nice, however, when you have Fate and 3 Spellbooks in your graveyard, you can use your Fate and Tower, use your Fate, banish the books, and then put Tower back. Your library is now live again. So there are situations mid-game where you can make the library live, and you should play to always try and have a library live or be setting up Fate. It's the only situations in which the library should be dead. But yeah, the card is actually a lot better than a lot of people say. So moving into the more kind of serious books, we do play 3 copies of Spellbook of Secrets for self-explanatory reasons, 2 copies of Spellbook of the Master. I feel that 3 is too many still, so 2 is perfect. 2 copies of the Grand Spellbook Tower. I feel that 2 is a perfect number. 1 is just too few. You really want to have access to the second one if you should lose the first one, especially with some of the field spell wars that are coming up. However, with the field spell changes, maybe this number could change. Double Eternity. Sometimes you find yourself having to banish the first Eternity. It's always good to have the second in that case. And then I play 4 one-off books in the form of Spellbook of Life for reviving them priestesses, Spellbook of Wisdom for protecting our priestesses, Spellbook of Fate for the general board control, and Spellbook of Power for general monster destruction. Because I absolutely love this card. I absolutely love Power. It was really, really good throughout. Then for the traps, we play 9, I believe. The traps are triple Reckless Greed. I do not like Upstart in this deck. While Duality offers you control over what you find, you can try and dig for secrets and things like that. I don't like Upstart anywhere near as much. However, Reckless Greed is a card that I do get along with quite a lot in this deck, because similarly to Dark Worlds, you do not need your draw phase. Because of the Grand Spellbook Tower, you're able to forego your draw phase and still have a draw for the turn because of the tower. So Reckless Greed is pretty cool. In James's list, he opted to play 3 copies of Raigeki Break. I was actually playing triple Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, because I like the way that the first turn Wind Blast will put a card on top of your opponent's deck and push them back a turn. It's almost as if, advantage-wise, you get an extra turn on that opponent. And it can just cause some really, really clogging situations, allow you to have those extra turns, allow you to massively slow down your opponent, because this deck plays a very attrition-based game. So I felt that Wing Blast was really, really strong for doing that, for slowing down the game, simplifying the game. That's why it's there. And then I just played the 3 good one-offs in the form of Bottomless, Torrential, and Warning to round off the main deck. Then for the extra deck, I did not play Magician Girl. This was a token. We still don't have a legal, and I couldn't make her in this deck anyway. So, for our rank 2s, this is an entirely Xyz extra deck. For our rank 2s, we played a fair few of them because they're the things you make the most. 1 Shining Elf. 1 Herald of Pure Light for adding our Priestess back to our hand. 1 Daigustu Phoenix, because you can make some pretty big damage plays / OTKs with this guy. Gachi Gentetsu. Sometimes you need a wall. You'll very rarely make this guy, but he's there. Armored Kappa. This guy was an option. I never made him, but it's in there as an option. And number 96 Dark Mist. Again, an option that I never made, but it's there because you have so much extra deck space. And I have a low battery warning. Excellent. Then I played a number of rank 3s because just in case you might make them. So I played 1 Mechric Engineer, 1 Ghost Trick Alucard, and 1 Zen Mains. I just felt that these were the best 3s for me to play, so they were in there just in case. I then played a couple of 4s. Like you should never. Well, you will make this, and I did make this, but the other guys just in case. I played 1 Downerd Magician because you can overlay her over your rank 2s. To leave you with a spellcaster. Like, you can Herald of Pure Light and then main phase 2 make this, and you're left with a spellcaster on board for your fate and things like that. So she was great. And I used Power Master on her to make her 4/5 and had her swing to pierce damage. It was so good. And then the only other 4 I played was Silent Hunter Arc, just in case, because there's almost no way you'll make this in the deck. I think there is no way to make this in the deck. But I never knew if I was going to get, say, a level 4 creature swap to me. I could then, like, life a magician by banishing another magician and make this, like, very rare occasions. And then I played 4 7s in the form of Mecha Phantom Beast Dracossack, number 11 Big Eye, who is a spellcaster. A lot of people forget about that. Number 74 Master of Blades, and Hierophant of Heavy Storm, Hierophant of Prophecy. I like this guy. I've never brought him out, but I absolutely love him in theory. The ability to basically force your opponent. It's like Artorigus. He forces your opponent not to set their spell traps or commit their spell traps because you can destroy so many with his effect. So I quite like him. So that actually brings me to the end of this deck profile. It's been fairly quick. I've not really had that much to say on this because it's a fairly simple deck concept. But I am going to try and bring you guys some more interesting, some more kind of not non-meta decks, but non-meta slants on meta decks. Please do look forward to possibly, if I can get the list right, a Reaper version of Prophecy. I am working on that list. I'm trying to work out the kinks so I can bring you that, but it's still in testing stages and I'm not really sure where I'm going to go with it. So hopefully I'll be able to bring you guys Reaper. I've almost finished Noble Knights, so you guys can stop asking for Nobles. Inzectors are possibly in the pipeline. I cannot currently build Gustos. And to the person who keeps asking for budget decks, I build decks that I feel are the best for the meta and the most interesting things to see. If you're looking for budget decks, for the moment I would go elsewhere, because I'm sorry to say this, I'm not really that much of a budget player. But I'm going to try and come up with some possibly cheaper builds. And you also have to bear in mind that some of my decks that I profile on this channel actually can be built quite cheaply. I'm just very big on my rarities. I like foiling stuff out when and where I can. So please, if you do think a deck is too expensive, please double check to see if anything has been reprinted, because a lot of things that I play actually have. So that's about everything I wanted to say. Yeah, let me know what you want to see in the comment sections down below. I hope I answered a few of your questions, and if there's anything else you're looking for, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll try my best to build the decks that you guys do ask for. However, you have to know that some of the more rogue things that you're asking for, I do not have. I have most of the kind of mainstream things. So please, ask away, but do bear in mind, if you pick something too rogue, like some of the Hidden Arsenal stuff, like Gustos, I do not have those decks. So, yes. That's about everything I wanted to say. This has been JammyKid00, and I'll see you guys next time with some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Related content. Peace out. Bye-bye.